ChatGPT, start 3 blind reviewers. The clock is running. Do not tell me which AI made either edit.
Understood. I'm checking the launch details now. Within 90 minutes, 3 blind reviews land in their files, with Aster and Cobalt anonymous. Any identity leak? Armed.
Three reviews, 1 decision, more than 3 rescues, and you're fired. And now, what I'm going to do is get the new voice mode inside of the ChatGPT app to essentially hire some reviewers to look at both edits and to basically determine which one makes the best YouTube video. I will be the one making the final decision at the end, but that's what we're going to be doing. Strap in, let's fucking go. So why are we doing this today? OpenAI's voice mode came out in the new ChatGPT app about 8 hours ago as of the time of this recording. This is what it should look like when it eventually comes into your ChatGPT app. You update the app and you should see something that looks like this, where it just has try ChatGPT Voice, start voice. And when you click on that, you'll get a pop-up that looks something like this, meet ChatGPT Voice. What you might have noticed in the intro is that it could look at my screen, which means that you don't have to put a screenshot in the prompt. You can just ask Chat Voice, read the thing on my screen and tell me what to do next. Now, this is AI on payroll. It's a type of video format I do. And what that means is we're going to hire ChatGPT Voice if all 3 reviews work, the names stay hidden, and I rescue voice 3 times or less, which means I just have to interfere with what it was doing. And look, I'd say there was one time where I had to interfere here, so call that once. 4 or 5 rescues means probation, it's in timeout. And then 6 means that AI ChatGPT Voice is fired. In those 2 videos that there were 2 different approaches in terms of taste and style to the video. The second one was more dramatic. The first one had no music, but had its own distinct visual style as well. And what it's doing here is it's spawning some sub-agents to go and review those 3 videos. And each one has a different task. So one reviewer judges story and retention. That's this one over here. The other reviewer checks proof and technical defects. And then the third reviewer checks or attacks the obvious taste. And it looks like we have our second rescue. As I said earlier, to rescue it 6 times, it means it's fired. So far, we've had this one instance here, and then another instance where it finished working, and it's not doing anything yet, but it's not given me an output. So here, I'm guessing I'll have to prompt it to continue. So that's 2 rescues. You just stopped working randomly. Continue your task.
Sure. Picking that back up now. The 3 reviews and anonymous decision package are complete. The only hold is your anonymous lock. Say, my anonymous choice is Aster or Cobalt.
Cobalt. Aster and Cobalt are the code names for the 2 videos. So Aster is this one. Look, so I've watched the full one of that, and it's quite an emotional video about second brains, which was not my intention, but whichever model decided to create that decided to go for the emotional vibes. Whatever. So that is Aster. Cobalt is this one. I don't know about you, but I actually like Aster, the first one, better than Cobalt, the one that was just on the screen. Mainly because from what I can see, Cobalt includes a few word gaps and retakes that ideally I didn't want to end up in the final video. So I'm going to let it know. My anonymous choice is Aster. Lock it.
Okay, locking that in now. Aster is now locked as your anonymous choice. I haven't opened any model map.
Lock, Aster, and reveal.
The sealed experiment folder. I'm not seeing a model map in it. Which exact source should I open for the reveal?
I don't know, you tell me. You're the one who's running this.
The documented sealed map is missing, so I'm recovering the documented deterministic mapping from the 2 delivery manifests without creating or changing any identity file.
There is a mute button. All right, it was right there. I just thought that was going to activate the normal speech-to-text feature, but the mute button is there, which is great because I was wondering why on earth that would not have existed earlier, because it just made a lot of sense. Okay, so I'm going to deduct the rescue from here.
Reveal verified. Candidate Aster is Fable 5. Candidate Cobalt is GPT-5.6 Sol. The original sealed map was absent, but the deterministic assignment and the delivered media hashes map.
So Fable 5 was the one that edited the video that we chose. All right, cool. What else can you do for me to...
Best next demo. Give me a messy live production problem. One constraint, conflicting inputs, a deadline.
I don't know what any of that means. Just speak simply and give it to me in simple words.
Sure, I'll put it plainly. In simple terms, I can be your live producer. You talk, I keep you on track, give you the next shot, hand jobs to other AIs, bring their answers back, and help you choose what to do next.
So really, this can be something that you just have always on. And because you can actually mute it, I think there's a lot of power in having this as an always on AI agent, almost like a chief of staff, because I can also get it to connect. So coming back to our video, I just thought of another question I had. What was the rationale or the thought process behind picking ChatGPT 5.6, and why do you think I preferred Fables when the 3 reviewers all preferred ChatGPT 5.6? Don't you think there's a bit of favoritism going on there because the 3 reviewers are ChatGPT 5.6 itself?
Let me check. Small correction, they didn't all pick 5.6 overall. For the long video, 2 picked Cobalt. That's GPT 5.6's edit, basically because it was shorter, clearer, and more The technical reviewer picked Aster, which is Fable's edit, and 2 preferred Aster for the shorts because they felt more direct, and it had a full 5 video set. Blind labels help, but if all reviewers are GPT-based, that's not fully independent. A stronger test would include human scoring and reviewers from different models.
All right, fair enough. So where does that leave us? In terms of the AI video editing between ChatGPT 5.6 Sol and Fable 5, we've already seen that the long form video, my own personal judgment here is that Fable 5 did a better job. But what about the shorts? These are the shorts that Fable 5 edited. I'm just going to pick a random one and we'll take a look. I found Obsidian's breaking point. 44,331 notes opened. Note 44,000. Not bad. It all makes sense. And it's removed the retakes and it seems pretty coherent. Then for GPT 5.6 Sol, crashed 9 times while I tried to squeeze the full vault into its graph view. I'm not going to do crash number 10 for some dramatic. That one's harder to pick. I'm going to have a look at another one from GPT Sol. Most second brains look pretty, but do fuck all. And if yours can't help with a real one more from Fable, a log from March, one of my second brain logs from March 6th. Oh, it's really hard. Fable 5 included a retake at the start, which it shouldn't have. I didn't see any of those mistakes from GPT Sol. I like the motion graphics better from Fable though. I don't know, I'll let you decide. I think where I'm leaning is honestly, it's very close. Fable wins for the long forms, and I would say it's a tie for the short forms. and that would bring Fable as the winner overall. That is the final verdict for the AI videos, but what is the final verdict for ChatGPT voice mode? If it, as we've already said, if I had to rescue it 4 or 5 times, it's going to be on probation. Rescue 6 times, it's going to be fired. I only had to rescue it once, so I consider this to be something that is worth hiring. ChatGPT voice mode is now on payroll. And as you also saw, those 3 reviewers that ChatGPT Voice spawned as sub-agents, they were looking at the evidence of the videos. But then there's this whole other dimension of taste. And this is where I see the interaction between ChatGPT Voice and humans. Honestly, a fucking massive moment for AI in general. I think some other people likened this to the open call moment, but for voice mode. And I can see that. Just right now, I can see this is already a permanent fixture on my screen. And if that isn't a defining moment in AI, then I don't know what is. But the point I'm trying to make here is that the interaction needs to be as follows. You can get the voice mode to manage evidence and, files, connection, plugins, get it to do stuff that you would normally get AI to do. But, and this is a big but, make sure that your own taste and judgment is still being used. Because if I just went off of what ChatGPT Voice's 3 sub-agents suggested, then I would be defaulting and deferring my judgment to the AI. And what this test has shown is ChatGPT Voice is interesting only if it manages real work without making me its full-time babysitter. The human boundary is clear, voice can manage the evidence, and it doesn't get my taste vote. That stays with me. So if you want to do a test like this with ChatGPT voice mode, here are 4 rules. Give it a real job, something that you are actually going to do. I was actually going to compare both videos that the different models created, a real job. Set a clock. It's not going to be as helpful if it can only do it in 24 hours versus in 10 minutes or whatever we did. Then count every rescue. The rescues are the attempts where you have to go and babysit it because it's kind of defeating the purpose of what you want this thing to do when you have to constantly babysit it. And then keep one human line, meaning name the decision it can't make. For the video editing, it was my final call on which video I preferred best. If you see the power of ChatGPT Voice, but you don't know how you can leverage it in your own business, invite Lennox in. I'm Lennox. Go check the link in the description below. Can't wait to see you soon.